Welcome to a very short update of the markets, and today we're going to discuss the fact that Bitcoin has been correcting quite heavily. We are looking at the CPI data and we're going to identify the crucial levels which we have been discussing yesterday too, but we're going to do that today as well in this very short update of the markets. But before we're continuing, make sure to subscribe beneath and like this YouTube update and check out my Twitter and Instagram where you can find daily content on the markets. So in the past weeks, and I've said this yesterday on YouTube too, the past weeks we have been seeing a tremendous surge of the markets. Altcoins have been dropping some 2-3x or even more if you're looking at Silica for instance. But those runs were quite short-lived as we have been anticipating a pretty heavy correction on the markets, right? So we have been touching the 47 to 48k range of Bitcoin and we have been correcting since, in which Bitcoin has been dropping to beneath 40k in the previous week as the acceleration started to play out. Now, today we've received the CPI data, in which the CPI data was exactly as predicted or as expected, and therefore the upwards or the markets are running up a little bit more, or at least bouncing from the actual data. So what did we actually see? Well, we have seen a period where risk on did well. The dollar has been showing some sideways momentum, and now the dollar has been running further upwards, which has been pushing the equities and crypto downwards. Bitcoin in itself was also dropping, and because Bitcoin is dropping quite heavily, the altcoins are dropping even more. Although if you look at the fear and greed index, it has been dropping towards extreme fear already, and the momentum has shifted towards let's say panic and fear heavily the past 24 hours as the drawdown started to accelerate even more. So right now we are in a period where higher time frame support levels are hit, and at least a short-term bounce can be expected from those ranges, and that's why we have been buying into the positions in the past few days. We have been building up those positions, and if you want to know which positions we have been building, check out the website in the description beneath, where you can become a member of our group. There's only one membership where you can find my staking portfolio, my investment portfolio, my trading portfolio, trade IDs, and even more. So check it out here downwards. We have decreased the prices heavily too, to make it more possible for everyone to join into the group. So in this update further, we are going to have a look at the price action of Bitcoin. We're going to have a look at the price action of Ethereum, and we're going to look at the equities too. And we are going to look at an altcoin. So let's head towards the charts and end off this intro. So in yesterday's update we have been covering some crucial levels, right? We have been saying that hey, if we drop back in the range, the level that we should be watching is the area that we have here. We've got a minimal rejection or reaction from that zone, and we started to correct quite swiftly since, in which we are at the final support level, as I'm calling this the final support level, that if we lose this zone, all these long triggers are gonna be hit, and therefore the price action will start nosediving even more, and then we are probably going to sweep the lows towards 32 to maybe even 29k to make a bullish divergence on higher time frames and to have that downwards drop. So right now we're dropping back into the range. We are currently facing that final support level before I'm expecting that those lows to be tested. And getting into that final support level, at least a short-term bounce can be expected. In which right now we are having that short-term bounce, not really saying anything right. We've just been retesting some levels. The chances are that we're going to test the green zone again. And then at least you can target to have some longs, which if we retest the lows here, which can be gaining you around 8 to 10% depending on how deep the actual correction will last. So when we're looking at the higher time frame picture, overall we are still making higher lows and higher highs. The fact that we have been dropping back in the range after this fake out is not really a good sign, right? The assumption is that then you're going to take the liquidity at the other side, as since we have been trending down since the peak high, this is not really what you want to see when it comes to the markets. When we were correcting slightly previously, I thought, okay, this is a pretty standard correction. That is still fine, but with the fast motion we are getting right now, this is not really what you are expecting to see. So in this case, we are still approaching the higher time frame support. I think targeting longs here is pretty much fine, but are we going to have a drop down beneath it? I think then the pain can be quite heavy when it comes to the markets. Now when we're looking at the Nasdaq, similar view, we are on the crucial support level, having a slight bounce, probably going to close the gaps here. If we are able to create ourselves a run all the way towards the upper gap at 14,800, it seems very likely that we are continuing the upwards momentum, and then the chances to buy into the markets with risk on is actually right now. Looking at the dollar, finally we are having a downwards move here, and potentially, and I'm saying potentially, we are going to create ourselves a bearish divergence here, which would result into a short-term reversal, or at least a period of reversal, which we have been seeing here previously too, and such a period of reversal can be a few months. We have been seeing the same here, in which the period of from November 2018 all the way towards May 2019, the dollar has been moving sideways, and if you know what happened by that period, yes, Bitcoin has been running from 3 to 14k. So if we are going to create this bearish divergence on the dollar, and if we're going to drop back into this range, I think that the chances are that we're going to see some serious momentum on the markets. Ethereum, very similar view as on Bitcoin at this point. We are having this drop back into the range of support, looking a bit stronger than Bitcoin at this point yet. If we lose this level, the next zone is 2.5, and then we're probably going to make new lows too. So at this stage, you should be watching Ethereum as well. And actually, Ethereum has to regain the level at 3160. Finally, if we're looking at altcoins, I think that if you wanted to chase some entries, now the chances are there. For instance, Scale is bouncing from the crucial support level all the way from this run. I marked this level in the past few weeks, and this one is finally hit, currently up approximately 10% if you were trying to get yourself into a long. And at least I assume that when you're getting into this position, or at least taking some longs on alts, you can gain between 20 to 60% in the next week if Bitcoin is going to survive the level here and have a bounce all the way towards 42k, because if we're going to have that bounce, the first level is 42k before we are finding ourselves into resistance. And I think that if we're going to reach 42k, the market is looking quite strong. That's the update for today. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this update. Don't do stupid shit. Make sure you're smiling all day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.